Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the newly released Transformers Netflix Wave 3 Cybertron Deseeus Army Drone. Now for those of you unfamiliar with this particular character, he really was a blink and you will miss it. When the mercenaries do indeed capture the Autobots and bring them to the incredibly sadistic Cybertron Deseeus, Deceus does in fact have an entire army of these particular clones, and from what I can tell, this figure is pretty much 100% accurate from his appearance from the Netflix series. Now, of course, he is just a direct repaint of the Siege Ironhide, but that mold was one of the best figures to come out of the Siege line. So when it was announced that we were going to be seeing a brand new take on this character, I knew that I had to add him to the collection. And if I were to be honest with you, if I had to choose between army building the Deceus clone or the Sparkless bot, I would definitely recommend army building this guy, as he is so fun to actually pose around. Taking a look here at the details, of course, as mentioned, this is merely just a repaint of the Siege Deluxe class Ironhide, but I absolutely love the colour variation that we have got going on here. The entire head has been cast out of black plastic with a really nice silver metallic paint deco applied to the face, and of course some very piercing blue eyes. As we turn our attention here to the torso, we do in fact get the Cybertron logo there, which has been printed on very nicely, and you can even pick out some of the sharper details of this tampo detailing, such as the mouth, nose and the eyes. I do also like this almost battle damaged effect that we have got splattered across the torso. You can see we've got some really nice looking black paint application applied here over the top of the silver, and I really love the transparent purple that they have used here for the windshield. As we take a look here towards the shoulders, as mentioned, I really think these Netflix figures are nailing the paint applications, as these figures are actually painted 100 times better than some of the regular Earthrise and of course Siege figures. You can see how we have got a darker wash applied over this entire region, which really does help to pick out some of the sharper details of the sculpt. Of course, it's not perfect, but for a mass-produced Hasbro product, I do believe they did a very nice job, and the forearms have got to be my favourite part of the paint application in general. This has been completely painted in a very nice glossy black paint with some silver metallic highlights applied over the top in order to give you the impression that this entire region here is battle damaged. As we flip here to this side, you can once again see that same battle damaged effect, and then taking a look here towards the lower section of the figure, that detailing does continue, although the silver is a little more predominant than when compared to the forearms. I would have liked to have seen a black wash applied here to the thighs, as when taking a look at the figure as a whole, that really is the only area that has gone unpainted, and considering they did it for the shoulders, I'm almost certain they could have done it here for this entire region. But regardless, you can see the feet too have also got that super nice looking black wash, and then as we spin around here to the back, it is merely just a mix of grey and black plastic. This clone of course only comes with one accessory, and as you would expect, this is merely just a re-release of the Siege Ironhide's accessory, but this has been completely cast out of grey plastic and once again has a very nice looking black wash applied over the front with that almost specular paint application in order to really give you the sense of realism, and I think it looks terrific. And we also do get some nice green blasters there, which are a very nice colour trait which have been carried over from the Quintessons, as of course we do get green on the actual Quintesson itself. This can transform into the hammer accessory, much like we saw with Siege Ironhide, or you can have the Deceus clone actually hold it, much like we saw in the show. As far as a comparison is concerned, let's just bring in the Siege Deluxe Ironhide. You can see that, as mentioned previously, this figure is just a direct repaint, but the difference in colour scheme definitely does help to set these figures drastically apart. I just wish that if anything, maybe they could have given him a slightly more sinister colour scheme for the actual eyes. Considering they are blue, that to me does evoke more of an Autobot than as opposed to a baddie, so maybe if they could have given it a red or a green paint application, I think a green would have suited this really well. I probably would have been able to accept that a little better than the eyes, although from what I can recall, this is in fact accurate to the animation, so that is more of a qualm that I have with the animation than as opposed to the toy. But as far as robot mode is concerned, he looks really awesome. Articulation for the figure is as follows. We get a ball joint here at the head, which can look left to right as well as up and down and tilt side to side slightly. Full rotation here at the arm, as well as a hinge joint which can bend slightly past 90. Full rotation here at the bicep, 90-degree bend there at the elbow. Full rotation here at the wrist. Full rotation at the waist. The legs can kick forwards that far as well as back to that far. He can of course do the splits. Full rotation at the thigh, as well as a 90-degree bend there at the knee. And then finally we of course get the signature War for Cybertron trilogy ankle rocker pivot, and much like his wave mate Sparkless bot, all of the joints do feel incredibly tight. So despite this being the third or maybe even the fourth remold slash repaint, the joints have held up exceptionally well. As it is a very fun transformation to actually go through, I shall showcase it in this review. Pull down the windscreen here and tuck the head up. That will then allow you to take this section and free this from the main torso. We can then rotate the arms around in an alignment which looks along the lines of this, we can of course attach this section into place. You'll then want to pull this away from the body and rotate this here all the way around, and then of course this section will clip there securely into place. We can then take these panels, hinge them out to the sides, fold this section out, and of course repeat the same process. And something which is indeed worth noting is that these hold on so much better than when compared to both Siege Ratchet and Siege Ironhide. So Hasbro do appear to have actually made some adjustments to this, as even when applying some force, they definitely do not become detached as easy when compared to some of the previous releases of this mold. You'll then want to compress the arms down, as we do have some slots here that will peg into these tabs. So just align this up and snap this in just like so. And of course, repeat the same process without everything exploding. It's probably best to come to the underside and align these up first, and then of course bring these up and over and tab them there into place, and then take these panels and just snap them there along the sides, and then finally take the windscreen and compress that, and here we have the Deceus army clone fully transformed up into this very heavy infantry looking vehicle mode. Now, as we never actually see these transform in the show, I am unable to tell as to whether or not this would be accurate, but it would stand to reason considering they are Ironhide clones, and Ironhide did transform into something like this, although I can't even remember actually seeing Ironhide transform on the show. But regardless, you can see that as far as the detailing is concerned here for this mode, it too looks very impressive, and I think the battle damaged effect works exceptionally well. They really have done a fantastic job with these figures. Unfortunately, we do have the feet here on the back, although this does not bug me nowhere near as much when compared to the actual Earthrise rendition of both Ratchet and of course Ironhide. I think it works quite well for the actual Siege mold, and the figure can of course roll along the ground with absolute ease, and you can bring in the rocket launcher and attach that there on to the top. And so that just about concludes my review for the Transformers Netflix Wave 3 Deceus Army Drone. I really hope that you enjoyed this review. I would love to know down in the comment section below on whether or not you guys think this particular re-release / repaint is worth picking up, considering it was a character that we didn't really see a whole lot of in the show. I can in fact see this perhaps being one of the peg warmers of the wave. I think that the majority of collectors are going to be going after that Netflix repaint of Cheetor, as of course that is much more accurate to how he appeared in the actual Beast Wars series when in comparison to the original released Kingdom Cheetor. But I think this figure here is really nicely done. I do like the paint deco, and when comparing him to the actual CG model that we see in the show, it is pretty much 100% accurate, and it's a really nice companion piece to actually display alongside the Deceus Quintesson from, of course, the Earthrise line. But be sure to let me know down below on whether or not this is a figure that you plan on picking up, and if he is an easy miss, who are you most looking forward to, and which is the figure that you guys want the most. I thank you all for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.